The Nintendo Switch. Such a great system. Giving us games like Super Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Maker 2, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and no retro stuff. Wait, what? Listen, I love this system, but seriously, Nintendo, where is the Virtual Console? I mean, that's one of my favorite parts of Nintendo systems. Just being able to download old games digitally and play them on modern hardware. It's really nice to have so many retro games at your disposal. It's awesome! But then Nintendo said, ooh, let's make it a part of our subscription service instead. Why? So yeah, the Virtual Console is pretty much dead now. But that's not what we're here for. No. We're here to talk about video game rumors. Video game rumors pop up all the time, and most of the time are completely fake. But there's this one rumor that people are talking about constantly. A rumor stating that all past 3D Mario games are coming to the Switch. At first, I thought the whole thing was just all fake news. A rumor that would never happen. But it started to grow. Sites like IGN and Eurogamer started talking about it and stating that, yep, it's true. This made me think a bit more, but I was still a bit skeptical of the whole thing. The games that are speculated to get ported are Super Mario 64, Sunshine, Galaxy 1 and 2, and Super Mario 3D World. The games are expected to release on Mario's 35th anniversary, and that will make sense considering these are all classic games from the Mario franchise. So I'm going to start ranking the games of how likely they are to get ported to the Switch, starting with... This game is pretty unlikely for two reasons. One, they'd have to completely remake it from the ground up due to the game having a ton of annoying issues, like the stupid camera and Mario's physics. Two, if Mario 64 is going to get re-released, they probably have to re-release it under the Switch Online subscription service. But it could still happen. Stuff like Link's Awakening and Metroid Samus Returns do prove that remakes of old games can work really well. But those games were originally in 2D. Mario 64 is a big open 3D Mario game, so remake could work, but I think Nintendo will just release it on Switch Online. Of course, I'd rather them remake Mario 64 from the ground up, but that's not really likely. But it could work. Remember when I said that Mario 64 wasn't that likely? Well, that also applies to Mario Sunshine, but to an even greater degree. First off, this is a very divisive game. Many people love it, many people hate it, so that alone makes it unlikely. Secondly, this is a GameCube game, and Nintendo doesn't really re-release those that often. And third, the game really relies on the GameCube analog triggers on the controller, because the harder you hold the trigger down, the higher FLUDD will fly, and the more water it will use. I feel like that without the analog triggers, Mario Sunshine may not work that well. They could still get around this, of course. They could get around this by making you have to use a Smash Ultimate GameCube controller, but that's pretty unlikely that they'll do that. But there is a possibility. GameCube games have been re-released before. Stuff like Metroid Prime Trilogy on the Wii, Luigi's Mansion on the 3DS, and The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD on the Wii U. So it could work if done right. Plus, GameCube games are pretty valuable right now, and kind of hard to get your hands on, so it will be nice to re-release them. Overall, the least likely game of the bunch. If you don't know, Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 are my favorite games of all time, and I would love to see them both get ported to the Switch. However, it's not completely likely, but a bit more likely than the other games I just talked about. First of all, both Galaxy games rely heavily on motion controls, and even though the Joy-Cons do in fact have motion controls, they are nowhere near as accurate as something like a Wii Remote. They could take out the motion controls completely, but I doubt that would happen. I just feel like if you took the motion controls out of Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, they won't feel as natural. And holding a Joy-Con and using that as a motion controller wouldn't feel that natural either. But if Nintendo tried really hard to make the game work without motion controls, it will definitely be possible. In fact, in China, there's a console called the Nvidia Shield that has an HD version of the first Mario Galaxy, and that version doesn't even use motion controls, so it could definitely work. Overall, pretty likely. If there was any game out of the bunch that is almost guaranteed to get ported to the Switch, it would have to be Super Mario 3D World. Overall, this game would be pretty easy to port over to the Switch. Everything that the original game had could definitely be done on the Switch. One thing in 3D World that might be a little bit tricky is the touch controls for the Wii U gamepad. But this isn't a thing that will hold the game back from getting ported. In fact, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, which is a spin-off of this game, uses way more touch controls in 3D World, and that got ported. So I think this port will definitely happen. So overall, I want all these games to get ported to the Switch, so people who missed out on them can get a chance to play them. But outside of 3D World and the 2 Galaxy games, I don't think 64 and Sunshine are coming over. Super Mario 64 is a game that's guaranteed for the Switch Online when the N64 Online app eventually comes out, and Mario Sunshine is probably never going to see re-release, at least not on the Switch. Of course, I want all of these games to come out, especially Sunshine, since I never got the chance to play it. Who knows, maybe all the 3D Marios will get released on the Switch, and people who never played these games can get a chance to experience them for the first time. Or for fans of these games who want to go back and replay them on modern hardware, they can re-experience them again. Anyways, that was it for today's video, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out. Bye.